Find the absolute extrema of x minus log x on the interval 1 over e cubed e. And again, we're trying not to do this. We're trying to do this without a calculator. So you do need to know the fact that e is between 2 and 3. If you're not going to be using a calculator, you at least need to know that. Alrighty, go. Let's give you, say, 3 minutes and like some seconds. Try to finish the whole thing. Actually, it's a very short time, 3.5 minutes, but try to actually finish the whole thing. If not, at least get the critical numbers. Oh, I've been muted the whole time. All right. So, as per usual, right, the function is continuous on the given domain. So let's find the critical numbers, right? Then we make our table of values, and then we see which one's the biggest, which one's the smallest, right? Notice none of the questions today have really been any different from each other. Okay, so find critical numbers. Okay, so what is my derivative? My derivative is 1 minus 1 over x. Right, very easy derivative. Okay, what are the two types of critical numbers? Let's keep reminding ourselves. Two types of critical numbers, write them out. It's not where it is equal to 0. Please don't use the word it. I can just replace that it with anything and mark you wrong. Gives me no greater pleasure than to fail students. Edit that out. F prime of x is undefined, or f prime of x is equal to 0. Very good. Okay, so what do we get for the first type? Where is this derivative undefined? X equals 0? We sure about that? Are we actually sure about that? Nah, Caleb? Nah? Yeah, 0 is not in the domain. First of all, zero is not in the interval I gave you, and 0 is also not in the domain of ln of x anyway. So x equals 0. To say that this function is not differentiable at x equals 0, I mean, that doesn't really make sense. It's not even the domain. So this is again none. Where is this derivative equal to 0? So that's pretty easy, right? We can already see that it's just x equals 1. Okay, so now let's make a table of values. Okay. So which x values should I write down here? What are the x values that I write down? So 1, e, and 1 over e cubed. I'll write the 1 over e cubed first, and e. And again, to remind everyone, the 1 is there because that was a critical number, and the other two x values are there because those are the endpoints of my domain. Okay, so now let's plug these into my function and see what we get. So x equals 1 gives me 1 minus 0, so I get 1 there. 1 over e cubed gives me 1 over e cubed minus negative 3. So I get 1 over e cubed plus 3. And for e, I get e minus 1. So e minus 1. Now, it's a matter of which one of these is the largest and the smallest, right? So recall, if you don't have a calculator, all you really need to know is that e is a number between 2 and 3, and that should get you the whole way. So for instance, it should be obvious that 1 over e cubed plus 3 is the largest number. Why? So first of all, it's obviously bigger than 1, right? Because 3 is bigger than 1. Is it bigger than the other number? Is 1 over e cubed plus 3 bigger than e minus 1? Yes, because e is less than 3, right? So it should be obvious just knowing that e is between 2 and 3 that 1 over e cubed plus 3 is the biggest number. What about the absolute minimum? All right, so now that we know that that's the max, 1 and e minus 1, which of those two is smaller? 1, right? Because if e is bigger than 2, that means e minus 1 is bigger than 1, right? Just subtract 1 from both sides of that inequality. So e minus 1 is definitely bigger than 1. So the absolute min is 1, and the absolute max is 1 over e cubed